I got coffee. I'm awake, I promise. We're gonna have a show. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it. Or your money back. And good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Wednesday. It is June 2nd, 2020. My name is Jerry, and this is my first cup of coffee, and clearly I'm not with it yet. I slept great and long enough. In fact, I woke up and my body was like raring to go. Just like my heart was actually racing, which happens sometimes. And I think it's because I slept well. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I had weird dreams. Who knows? Well, I hope you had a good Monday. Tuesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. I hope you had a good Tuesday. I'm thrown off from the week because of the holiday on Monday, but I'm not the only one. Yesterday, while Andrew and I were recording, and I'll come back to that in a minute, I got an email notification that one of my clients was in the Zoom waiting room. It's like, that's weird. Our meeting's on Monday. And so we exchanged a couple emails, and I emailed her boss, and because she ended up in there, and I was like, what's going on? And ultimately, I got an email reply that said, I thought it was Monday. We were closed yesterday, so today's the first day of the week, so I just assumed it was Monday, and we normally meet on Mondays. Well, that's right. Andrew came up. We recorded 4 Thursday episodes. Came out really good. I was really excited for them. I haven't seen Andrew in person in like a year and a half, and it was fun. It was fun recording. Now, one of the things on my list for next week, because I've got this kind of hybrid staycation thing sort of going on. I'm going to stick around here. The episodes of First Cup that I do were kind of on the fence whether or not I'm going to do them. I like doing them. They get me out of bed. There's nothing wrong with doing them. Maybe I'll still do. I don't know. I probably won't know until Friday. Oh, but one thing I got to do was clean up the warehouse because it was kind of a disaster and we weren't able to record visually in a great position. It still worked, but we can do better. And by we, I mean I. So I'm going to fix that stuff. Because at some point, Andrew will come back and we'll probably do that again. What else happened yesterday? I recorded a podcast episode with a guest for a Monday, and it came out pretty well. I was pretty excited about it. Great conversation. And that was fun. We got some others coming. One person had to reschedule because they were ill. They think they have COVID. I'm not supposed to say that word. Maybe the automatic thing won't check it and flag this episode for whatever reason. So that was most of the day, and then at the end of the day, I planted some chive seed, dug up some comfrey root, checked out some other things, made some other garden decisions. There's so much to do in the gardens. Good morning, Stacy. I'm just gonna chip away. I'm just gonna do a little bit every day. I think it's the only way it's gonna happen. Yeah. Now what's going on today? Today's Wednesday, so I got to deal with that flat tire in the car. The mechanic said, if you come here and hang out, we will get it done in the morning. Fortunately, it's going to be a nice day. They've got an awning I can sit under, do a little bit of work. I do have a client call, and then the major thing this afternoon. So I got 2 big things that are really important today. The first one, yesterday Justin and I met and went over the layout and everything for Barstool Journal, issue 1. The print mag, and it's really good. It's really close. He has done an absolutely phenomenal job. If I would applaud him if he were here. He's not here. I can still applaud him. But now it's my turn to take what he's done and clean it up a little bit, proofread, edit, work on some of that. But the expectation is that if I can finish that today and get it back to him, that we may have this off to the printer by the end of the week. So, I'm excited. I am very excited. That's a cat hair. The other thing that is important. So, most of you know my father passed away a couple months ago. We're actually coming just up to about the 2-month mark. And so there's all this stuff I've got to deal with him passing. But it's complicated. And everybody I've talked to that is knowledgeable on the subject has said, you should get a lawyer. Well, this is going to involve me getting a lawyer in another state. I'm not there, yada, yada. So I'm going to sit down with a lawyer that I know and trust for about an hour and say, hey, here are all the things that are going on. What should I be watching out for? What is the general way this is going to proceed? Because this person isn't licensed to practice in Maine, so I can't hire her. But it's not that different usually from state to state. So I'll at least get educated. I'm going to pay for this time, but I have learned over the years that educating myself before hiring someone blindly is almost always a good decision. It is the worst case is I learn something and spend some money that I didn't need to. It's not a bad thing. I'm game for that. And then after that, I'll probably go to the gym. And then the last thing to mention about yesterday, and this wouldn't be a big deal to probably any group of people other than this one. I sent an email yesterday. Sent an email to someone I know, someone I like, someone I respect as a martial artist. I said, hey, what would you think about me taking classes with you? This person knows stuff I don't know. I'm ready. I'm ready to start something new. I've had a lot of wonderful instructors over the years. And this person may count as another one. Stacy says, ask the lawyer you trust for a reference to someone in Maine. She'll likely have one. I completely agree. Not everybody wants to do probate, though. Probate's not, probate's not always something that attorneys want to get into because it's emotional and it's complicated. Especially in the cases where you have multiple heirs and they disagree and there's no will and blah, 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 blah. Fortunately, this one shouldn't be that complicated. Stacy says, had to have lawyers in New York and Vermont when my parents passed. I believe it. Well, the extra complication here is that I'm in Vermont. My father owned property in Maine, and that's really the only assets, the property and the things still in the house. But he was a dual citizen with Ireland and lived and died in Ireland. So there's the complication. Otherwise, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And I would probably be able to just go to Easy Probate, which if you are unfamiliar, easyprobate.com. I've met the owner. He's actually a pretty cool guy. And just handle all this stuff myself. But this one feels too complicated. Anything else? It's going to be another beautiful day. One of the things I'm looking at doing today, which is so next Tuesday is my birthday. We are counting down. We are counting down. But it's going to be hot. I'm going to go hiking. What do I need to bring? I've hiked when it's hot, but it's falling in the middle of what looks like a heat wave. Last I looked, we were on, actually, let me check the latest. I think this thing will give me weather. Will you give me weather? No. No, I don't see. Oh, I can do it there. Last I checked, we had like 4 or 5 days in a row of 90. You know what? This thing is slow. Forget it. We're just going to skip that. It's probably going to be. Right? Stacy says water, water, and more water in a Camelback. Yeah, I have one of those. But what else? What else is out there? This is kind of an opportunity for me to maybe treat myself. Buy myself a gift. hey, here's something that will help you not die in the woods. Those kind of things. I will be hiking. For those of you who are not local to the area, you may not know about our most famous of mountains, Camel's Hump. If you look up Vermont mountains, there's a very good chance that's what you see a photo of. So check it out. It's kind of a neat shape. Very windy at the top. In fact, there's a really good chance that with the wind chill at the top, I'm going to go from, 90 to 55. It gets windy up there. Although I think it was last year. Was it last year on my birthday or the year before? Where I sat out and got a tan. I sat out without my shirt and just soaked up the sun and then hiked back down. But it definitely wasn't 90 when I did that. So. Birds are chirping. It's nice out. All right. Let us see what you guys gave me to talk about. Now, I checked beforehand. I saw stuff from Frank. I didn't see stuff from anybody else. So, I don't know. I haven't seen much from anybody but Frank in a while. I would love to see somebody helping him out, offering some support. According to daysoftheyear.com, yesterday was also Say Something Nice Day. We have 4 quotes about being nice. I'll read the quotes and interject as needed. We all have a responsibility with the words we post on the internet. If you wouldn't want your mother, daughter, sister, or friend to read it, don't post it. Germany Kent. I don't know who Germany Kent is. Oh, actually, we've got a second quote from Germany Kent. I've expressed the same thing as grandmother. And the irony was I go to that phrase a lot. I'm going to try to diversify that. Interestingly enough, I recently posted something on my personal Facebook page, and there was some back and forth, and I commented to someone, yeah, I tend to express this as, don't post it if you wouldn't want your grandmother to read it. Good morning, Casper. And of course, because nobody can just agree with anything on the internet anymore, I got a reply, well, it depends on the grandmother. We are living in this really difficult time. The internet has made people super brave and quite willing to say things that they wouldn't say otherwise. And it's tearing the world apart. It really is. We are not on a good trajectory from all of this. I've pulled back a lot on social media, especially Facebook. There's just not a lot of point anymore. If you wouldn't let your closest, most vulnerable family, here's one that should be enough, but it's not. If you wouldn't say it in front of your small children, don't type it on the internet. And yet, there are lots of people out there who say horrible, horrible things in front of and even to their small children. So that rule doesn't work for everyone. Be nice to the environment. Be nice to animals. Be nice to people. If you do that, you will leave a mark on the world. Enock Maregesi. Maregesi? I can't quite be sure that that's an Italian name, so I'm not sure how to put the accent on that. Just be nice. Just be nice. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. We still live in this time. And I'm gonna possibly offend some people as I say this, and I'm gonna say it anyway. We live in this time where people have drawn these lines in the sand. If you did this or said this or believed this or voted for this person, I have no space for you in my life. Now, we've talked about this from the angle of it entrenches people in their beliefs. But the more I see it, you know what I've really come to see? Intolerance. Intolerance and arrogance, a belief that what you believe is so superior that someone else's opinion isn't even worth considering, when we can establish logically that the only difference between the only gap between their opinion and you is who they were born to. Think about preschool or kindergarten. What are the first lessons that we're taught socially? One would assume if they're the first lessons taught, they are some of the most critical, if not the most important. And the lessons taught are around tolerance, sharing, being kind, being respectful, hearing what other people have to say, etc., etc. It is the foundation of our social structure. And somehow, as adults, many of us have chosen to abandon those, to believe that we have a position that is so superior that those rules of being kind and part of society no longer apply. Now, I would love to say that I don't see this stuff for martial artists, but I do. And it really bums me out. And there are few things that are so horrid that I will not associate with someone at all. I pick how I associate with them. I will often let them know, hey, I don't think what you're saying is being very kind. I don't think it paints martial artists in a good light. I think you're a better person than that. And I hope that one day you will realize that that hate that you were putting out there doesn't have a place in the world. But it doesn't mean I'm just going to cast them aside. Spending time with people and liking them, believing in them, is not a binary thing. It's not an off or on. It's not, I love and agree with everything you've ever said or not at all. Because if we focus on the division and the negative, we will always find stuff that is worth dividing over. How about you look at the other thing? How about you look at what we have in common? This mimics the conversation that I've been having with people for the last 5, 6, 7 years about martial arts. I don't care what martial art you're pointing at, it is closer to what you train than it is not. There is more in common, there's more that binds us than divides us. And if we look for that, I think things would work a lot better. The most attractive thing about you should have less to do with your face or body and more to do with your attitude and how you treat people. Germany, Kent. I'm thinking back to high school. And I'm thinking about where people fit into the social structure. I think about the girls I went to school with, the popular ones, the very attractive ones. And then I think of some of the others that weren't so. But they were interesting. The first group were the girls that I wanted to date. The second group were the girls that I actually did date. And by date, I mean that very loosely, because not much of it happened. But the first group, many of them, not all, many of them were attractive and popular and didn't really establish much of a personality. They didn't develop character. And now, 20-something years later, and I noticed this at our 20-year reunion, they hadn't changed. Their best days were behind them. Some of them were still attractive, but not in any kind of broad way. You could see that physically they still had attractive features, and that's kind of where it ended. The second group continued to be interesting. They did cool stuff. They learned a lot of things, including how to put themselves forward physically in an attractive way. They became more attractive, and they already had the personality that they had developed. Those are the people that I see now and spend time with, and I'm like, hey, your best days are in front of you. And I like to think that I'm in that group. You look at pictures of me from high school, you're like, man, that guy was a nerd. And now you're like, hey, that guy's a nerd, right? I'm still a nerd, but I've embraced it. I know how to own it. Last one. Hey, all of you out there watching, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new, and leave me a comment for tomorrow. Stacy says, but you're a cool nerd. Thank you. What makes someone cool, really? Confidence. All being cool is confidence. Popular is confidence coupled with social acceptance. There's a difference. Cool, or I should say popular, is collective cool. But it's just confidence. I've accepted, I can handle cool. I'm probably never going to get to popular. That doesn't bother me. Stacy says, I was an artistic geek. I'm still an artistic geek. Awesome. I love it. I've been working my way through Big Bang Theory. Again, great series, super funny. And I believe that that series had an impact on changing the social structure of the world. And by celebrating academia and intellectual pursuit and traditionally nerdy hobbies. You think about all the things that are labeled as nerdy that are often accepted now that were not 20 years ago. Most of them are featured heavily in that show. Video games, trading card games, Magic the Gathering sort of stuff, comic books, comic book movies, dressing up as characters. There's some really good stuff going on there. All right, here's our last one. If you were not making somebody feel good, what are you making them feel? Melody Carstairs. I like that a lot. If you were not making somebody feel good, what are you making them feel? Now, it may not be your job to make them feel good or your responsibility. And yeah, they can choose how to feel based on what you say or do. But are you making it harder or easier for them? Don't forget, you can get this mug at whistlekick.com. You can use the code podcast15 to save yourself 15%. And one of the new things that we've done, I think I mentioned this yesterday, maybe not, we have added merch, free merch, to our Patreon tiers. If you were already spending $5 in getting the exclusive audio episode and the behind the scenes posts, you will now also get stickers. You don't pay anymore. I make less. Why are we doing this? Because I hope it will incentivize people to jump in on the Patreon, and we'll get more people, so overall we'll make a little more money. At the $10 plus tiers, all the tiers have stuff. I forget how it breaks down. But the lower tiers have stickers and other stuff. It's different designs, different things every 3 months. So the idea is that you stick around and we keep sending you cool stuff, different stuff. And the higher tiers have t-shirts and sweatshirts, and we're doing exclusive designs. In fact, one of the things on my schedule for, I think it's tomorrow, is to come up with something new. The nice thing is that the provider for what Patreon uses for all that printing stuff is the same one we've been using for years on our website. It's Printful. And Printful does a great job. They have good quality. Their customer service is awesome. Not that you guys ever have to deal with that stuff, but that's, I'm really happy because I trust them. They've done a good job. So check out the Patreon. Check out what we got going there. Here's the plan. The plan is that things will get rotated out. So every 3 months or so, there will be new designs. So you will have to stick around to keep getting all the new stuff because I want you to stick around. So I'm going to keep giving you cool things, new value. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. I hope you do something martial arts-ish, whether that's, doing what I do and punching and kicking your walls and maybe doing a little bit of flexibility or going outside and shadow boxing, whatever it is. Do something that reminds you and inspires you as a martial artist. And leave me some stuff to talk about in the comment section. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Peace.